Welcome to the David Bradley Show with your host, David Bradley.
All right, what's up, everybody? So, we're muddling on through till Christmas. This is going to be fun. Hopefully, we can get as many people as we can on and have a lot of fun with it. So, we're doing good. Anyway, I've got an announcement for everybody. December 7th, Ablaze Entertainment is putting on a benefit for hurricane victims. This is going to be at the Troubadour, 2416 Music Valley Drive, Nashville, Tennessee. Some of the artists that we've already got lined up is Bailey Marie, Kirby, Ryan O'Neill, Melody Guy, Alexis Marrero, Craig Moritz, I think that's how it's said. Hopefully that's how it's said. J. Mike Harder, Ivanka Lexi, I think that's right. And we're going to have some special guests on, Jamie Rowe, Brandon Reed Allen. They're putting together now an auction site. So there's going to be a lot of items that you can actually auction on. We're trying to get as much money together as we can so we can donate it through the proper channels over to the people that need it the most. We do appreciate everybody that has made trips to Asheville and helped out with chainsaws and everything else that they've been doing. It's just been phenomenal seeing the stuff in the community come together in this time of need. And it's not just a 1 month deal, dude. I mean, this is going to be going on for a while. The name of this event is called Christmas for a Cause. So, y'all remember Saturday, December 7th, you can get all your tickets and the information from ablazeentertainment.net, and the tickets are available at eventbrite.com. Y'all come out and see us. I will be there. All those artists will be there. I'm sure there'll be some more artists that are going to be there. Might even be some artists just hanging out, walking around. So y'all come on out and see us, and it'll be a whole lot of fun. So anyway, for my guest tonight, coming all the way from Iowa Entertainment. I like Dan. He's funny. We're going to talk to Kristine. Is that right?
Yes, that is right.
I said it right?
Yeah, absolutely. People say Christian a lot.
I want a lollipop for that one.
Man, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's always Kate Christian, and I'm just like, no, that's not necessarily it. So.
Well, it's kind of like two first names.
Yeah, a little bit. Christine's actually my middle name. My last name's Smith, so it's like Kate Smith, but I feel like, no, I don't know. Smith is like such a...
Kate Smith was on Charlie Angels.
Yeah, exactly. It's such like a universal name that like when my dad and I, or when I sat down with my dad or Ike, my manager, we talked about like, okay, what's my artist name? And I was like, well, I don't hear Kristine a lot. You know, like I was like, maybe I'll just shorten my name because my full name's Caitlin. So we shortened it to Kate, and then everybody started calling me Kate, and my parents were like, that's weird. Like, you grew up being called Caitlin. My family actually calls me Katie, so it's like weird. It's weird anytime somebody outside of my family calls me Katie. Mm-hmm. Like I've had somebody say my name completely different before. Like when introducing me, I think I was called like Katie. I think it was Katie Kristen or Kristine or like something so weird like that. I was like, I don't understand how you butchered it. I don't.
It's amazing. I mean, you know, and in the music industry, there's so many different names, and you try to pronounce them correctly, and sometimes you just butcher the hell out of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do it a lot.
I get that. Yeah, absolutely. I think I've also like seen in like the country scene, there's so many Lukes or like Zachs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, like Zach Brown Band, Zach Bryan, Luke Bryan. There's a lot of Bryan last names.
Yeah, Luke Combs.
Luke Combs, yeah. I don't know. There's like so many. I'm just like, man, maybe we need to get more creative with like names, but then I don't know. Does that make sense?
You know, trends. There's certain trends will like I'm going to get so much hate on this. When Lainey Wilson started hitting it big, she had that big old hat.
Yep.
Now you see every girl in the damn nation wearing this big old hat and bell bottoms.
Absolutely. Like the influence. I think I've been seeing a lot more like sparkly dresses and boots since Megan Maroney has been around, like in the color blue, because she just released like I think it's M.I.O.K., the M.I.O.K. album.
Yeah.
There's a ton of girls back in Arkansas where I'm from that are wearing these sparkly boots. I think Kelsey Ballerini influenced that too. She was on campus today, actually. And I saw like a huge line of these girls wearing like the frilled dresses and like the really sparkly cowgirl boots. I was like, man, trends.
Well, see, a lot of that started back in the 60s because all the men had the rhinestone suits.
Yep.
They wouldn't go on stage without that rhinestone suit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I tell people when they come up here to be on the podcast, don't wear stage clothes. Just be normal.
Yeah, I threw on a t-shirt, I went to class in this today.
Well, you picked a good shirt, so.
Yeah, Johnny Cash. I actually grew up with Johnny Cash. Yeah, my grandpa was a huge listener of him. So
yeah.
My dad and I have this bit where like when I make it big, or if I make it big, like he's gonna come on stage, we're gonna sing A Boy Named Sue. Like I feel like that would be so fun to have like that be.
You could change it to A Boy Named Kate. No, I'm just kidding.
That would be so funny, it'd be like the bit.
It's just however you do it. I mean,
It's a viral YouTube video right there. Just saying.
Maybe, possibly, who knows?
Who knows?
I can't keep up with the algorithm.
Yeah, absolutely. Social media is insane. Like I had a TikTok. TikTok is so tricky to like even have a viral video. Like that's how The Architect came along. I had a video blow up of like, it was like a 6-minute video.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't expect a 6-minute video to get 100,000 views and 20,000.
It's kind of too long for that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so like I sat back and I was showing my manager the stats, and I was like, what even is this? Like the videos that I've had go viral, which is like very few, are like 15-second long things. I mean, it's like known that people have short attention spans today,
Yeah.
And it was like of my friend and I writing the song. So it wasn't even like the song itself, like a video of the performance, I guess. It was just literally like a 6-minute video of us bantering about what a line was going to be in the song. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of like when you was writing it.
Yeah, like the writing process.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I've seen that more nowadays, though, is that people want to see the behind the scenes, but then it's like when you show them the behind the scenes, they want to see the performance instead. It's like never one or the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's
My advice is if you're going to write a song on air, make sure that is not going to air for a couple of weeks. Make sure you got your publishing rights and everything else on that song before you release
absolutely. Yeah. That song, that was the first thing that we did. As soon as it blew up, we have it registered with copyright. So
yeah, you got to.
With BMI and all of that. So you got to make sure.
I
all
like
that stuff's
BMI.
Yeah, I love
ASCAP is good too, but I like BMI.
BMI. I don't know. BMI is just where it's at. Like that's where I register all my stuff. I think. I don't know.
I think BMI is more personal. They actually talk to you like you're a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I went to like this seminar thing with 3 people. Like two of them were the creative directors of BMI, and one of them was a songwriter that runs like the internship. It's called BMI Catalog Cast.
Yeah.
And so like students like have the opportunity to work as a music publisher, but the creative directors there kind of work as like A&R people for colleges like Belmont, and they scout out certain artists for publishing companies.
Yeah.
And yeah, like they just were very personable people, I think. And I was like, I feel like I mean, granted, I've never really talked to anybody that is with ASCAP, so you never know. But yeah, I agree with you.
And for the disclaimer, BMI in no shape, fashion, or form sponsors this show. You got to do disclaimers on everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. There's so many people out there right now that actually have no clue how to do a song and get it published and protect it and all that other stuff. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's all a part of the process. I mean, you could post a song and somebody could beat you to it. You know, I mean, in court you have timestamps are so important.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? Someone could steal your song, but could easily be like, well, I had it produced and published first, because if you register it under copyright after you publish it, they have a better chance of keeping the song, I think.
Yeah. You just gotta be careful.
It's insane. Sampling's insane nowadays too. I've seen a lot of people get in trouble or like sued for sampling a song like the tiniest bit. I think I got a chance to talk to Ashley Gorley and Jesse Frazier, who are like, you know, the biggest country writers in the industry right now, and they were talking about how I don't know remember who they were writing with, but we're writing with a major artist, and sampled a David Bowie song, and had an issue with it when it hit the charts.
Yeah.
I don't remember what song it was. I have no idea, but I just remember I was like, man, even big writers like that can get screwed over real quick because they sampled something.
Yep. 8 seconds can hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to be careful. That's like on the internet stuff. There's free music out there and stuff that you can get and use if you're a creator. But you can only use so many seconds of it. After that certain limit, then you got to buy it.
Yeah, I was just talking to my dad about this, about how you have to monetize certain songs. Like an artist can select to like not have a song monetized. If it is monetized, people can like make money off of it without paying you, from my understanding.
Well, I mean, if you release a song, you got all your protection and everything in there, then I'm sure a lot of people have seen it because I've seen it on there. When you make a reel on Facebook and it tells you a list of songs that you can use and everything else, they actually get paid. You make the reel with that music and that music gets paid. I don't know how they've actually got it set up, but that's what I was told.
Yeah, that's what we're told. I know that YouTube's a tricky game. 'Cause
everything's
ads,
tricky.
Yeah, like ads, you can have a song that's technically not supposed to be used in ads, and ads can get away with using it because they use 3 seconds of it and you can't do anything about it. I guess it's exposure for you, but what is 3 seconds going to do? And, you know, it's like one of my sad songs being used in a Coca-Cola commercial. Like, what is that? I don't know. Like, I don't know what that's going to do for me, but.
Well, it's like you're going to Belmont now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, so you're sitting in the dorm room. You and a couple other people are writing a song. Somebody outside that door hears what you're doing and they just stick their head in and say one word.
And they're a part of the session. Yeah.
You got to put it on there. You got to list them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's anybody that's in the room, you can contribute 2 words, you can contribute an entire verse, and you can have even splits all the way.
It makes me want to go be a janitor at Belmont.
Yeah, listen.
Or just stop by and tell a word or something.
Ironically enough, my professor, who teaches my music business class, told us to be careful about that. Belmont's like known for kids who like collaborate and they do co-sessions. Like the whole thing is that they sing and like play instruments and have jam sessions like in the gazebos on campus. There's a giant bird cage that they call. It's just a giant gazebo, but they call it the bird cage. I don't know.
That's because there's a bunch of birds sitting there, but go ahead.
I don't know. I think there's like a chicken on the top. I don't think it's a chicken. Maybe it's a pigeon. I don't know. But yeah, like he was telling us just to be careful because if you ever, if you take that song to a producer and decide to release it, you could have somebody that was in that session that could be like, hey, I deserve my split on that.
Where's my cut?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're in like a whole legal ordeal and that's expensive to begin with, so yeah, like I
call it a movie check. Ever since I've seen Jay and Silent Bob, they were running around hollering, where's my MF and movie check? Julie's proud of me because I didn't actually say the word. But they were walking around, I want my MF and movie check. I want my movie check, Everybody wants a cut.
Everybody. I mean, you could be, like I said, you could stand in the room. I mean, I wrote The Architect with another girl. We evenly contributed, so it's like a 50-50 split. But
well, this is twice you referenced it, so we're going to dig into this Architect song.
Okay.
Because I want to know the process and everything else. Because you're going to Belmont. I'm sitting here looking at you. You seem very intelligent.
Thank you.
And with a song named The Architect, there's got to be more to it.
There's got to, yeah.
It's not like you wrote, Bob's first roller skate or something,
It's not like I wrote like you fell from an apple tree and it hit me. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually a song. I'm so sorry if someone has a song called that has those.
Who knows?
I don't know.
It's under 8 seconds. You're safe.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna get sued. No. Where do I start? You mean start talking about the architect?
Yeah, I want to know more about the architect because you're fixing to drop this song.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to know.
Okay.
Where did the idea come from? Was it a life experience? Was it because deep down, I love songs that are actually about life itself, and the song tells the story of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I get more feels out of it,
Man, where do I start? So
I don't know. It's your song. You got to start somewhere.
How mushy gushy do you want to get?
As much as you want to get. I don't care.
So the architect kind of came from the idea of like somebody else taking control over your life. Whether that's like sensationalized headlines, or just like a person talking bad about you behind your back that you thought was your best friend.
I know plenty of them people.
I grew up in a small town, so I had a lot of that,
Oh yeah.
And word gets out pretty fast in small towns, and so I met this girl named Camden, or I call her Cam, at Belmont, and I came to her with the line, "I'm scared of heights," and which is ironic. Like I have a metaphorical meaning, but it's ironic because I'm actually scared of heights.
Yeah.
So like, I came to her with that line, and it's kind of this idea of being scared of not being present in the moment because somebody else is going to kind of start pulling the strings if you're not, mentally there.
Right.
And so I came to her with that, and that's the first line, of the song. And so I came to her with that, and it kind of just like blossomed into this song about, like I said, somebody else building your reality. And so that person's the architect of your house and you're not. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, because I mean, just off that explanation right there, I can think of a lot of people out there that are hooked up with some narcissistic assholes that control every point of their life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's that's like a big thing that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a family member or it's like I said, someone you've been friends with for 5 years, or if you're a big celebrity, you can listen to the song and be like, oh, that magazine twisted my words,
Oh yeah.
Or literally anything like that.
Social media now. Social media is changing things.
Yeah, social media is a huge thing, and so
that's weird because I'm on a double-edged sword on that. I kind of hate it, but I got to use it.
Yeah, I get it. I'm like, I feel like my generation is very big into social media, but sometimes I'm like, man, TikTok. I'm like, I gotta post on TikTok again. I love it though, getting to promote that song. I think it's been super cool because a lot of people relate to it. And like, obviously they haven't heard the whole thing. Like, I think it's kind of interesting because like I've teased, like, I think the bridge of the song and then like the hook of the song that everybody's heard all over the internet. And like in the hook of the song, there's a specific line that says, "Your hands built my ceilings." And originally the song was actually going to be called Ceilings, but there's actually a Lizzie McAlpine song that's called Ceilings. And so my friend and I were like, okay, well, this song is like kind of in that genre, so maybe we'll shift it. And I'm like a sucker for titles that aren't necessarily in the chorus of the song or like the hook of the song. Do you know what I mean? Like, but or it's like somewhere in another place of the song. So the title's in the bridge of the song that I just dropped on social media as a new kind of like snippet. But there's this line that says, "Your hands built my ceilings." And so at that point in the song, as you get into the hook, you kind of hear the narrator begin to realize, or basically come back down to earth and realize that like the house that you live in isn't yours.
Right.
It's unlivable because it's not what you've built. It's not what you've wanted or imagined for yourself or for your life.
Right.
And that's personally my favorite line in the song, I think.
Yeah, because some people want just 2 bedrooms or 3 bedroom, 2 bath, That's all they want. That's all.
Man,
they
that's what the song's about. Like the house I didn't want. I don't want an apartment. I want a house. I don't know. People are gonna start comparing like blueprint layouts or something.
You know, I've lived in an apartment and I've lived in a house, and sometimes I miss the apartment.
Okay.
Because I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to cut the grass. I had the pool. I had the weight room. I had everything I needed, and didn't have to do anything else. She looks like she's about to fall asleep over there.
Who does?
She does.
You good? You good, right? Okay. You doing okay?
I think so.
You think so?
I'm like analyzing everything you're talking about, and like other people building your house and
Yeah.
your life.
Man,
Yeah.
hired the wrong contractor, I guess.
I don't know. It's getting deep on this song, though. I like this.
Yeah, I love it. I'm like a sucker for like a metaphor that you never would have thought of. Like I don't know. Like I pull a lot of inspiration. Like I read a lot of poetry. I feel like I feel like a lot of people like I say that. Oh my gosh, sorry, excuse me.
You're fine.
I feel like I say that and people are like, really? Like, why would you want to read poetry? I'm like, I don't know.
Because most people can only write roses are red.
Violets are blue. Do you love me too? I don't know. No, I just, and like, it's so funny because like looking back on like when I was like 15, I'm 18 now.
Thank God.
Which is not that. Honestly, if you would have met 15-year-old me, it would have been a whole different podcast. I feel like it would have been like a.
Well, your parent would have to be here to sign the paperwork. But anyway, go ahead.
That too. The legalities. I can do a lot more as an adult. I guess I'm an adult. I feel like a lot of places in Nashville, like I can't even stay past 10 p.m. So it's like I'm not actually an adult in Nashville, at least.
Yeah, you can't drink, can't do nothing.
No, I can't do any of that. I can't hang out on Broadway. I can't. I mean, I don't know how much I would want to hang out. I don't know.
I don't even hang out on Broadway.
I was like, I don't know how much I would want to do that. But like, there's a venue. I think it's the Bowery Vault in Nashville. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of it.
But there's a lot of friends that I have that play there. Not like 21 and up, obviously.
Yeah.
But like the venue is 21 and up, and there's this artist named Winter Wilson. I wanted to like go to her show, but I can't even get in because I'm 3 years younger than everybody else. 4 years. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you met 15-year-old me, I think it would be a whole different ordeal legally and just like song wise. Like when I was 15, I was writing music that was very like I wrote a song called Sorority Girl. I don't know, and I was like maybe not 15, like 14.
Okay, was that teenage angst?
Yes, okay, that's the word I was looking for. Like I had this big like teenage angst phase when I was like 14 or 15. Mm-hmm. I think like I just was very much like, oh, you broke my heart. Like, don't talk to me again, you know?
Puppy love.
Yeah, it's interesting. My first boyfriend sucked, so, you know.
They usually do.
Yeah, I got bad luck on that one.
It happens.
Bad luck on that one.
It happens.
Like, I think the first single that I released when I was like 15, I have a song out called Remedy that I released when I was like 15. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Obviously, like, I look back on it and I'm like, my writing is way better now, you know? But I wrote that song about a situation in, like, middle school. And, like, I took it into the studio, and, like, I was like, this is so good. And then everybody at my school, because it had been like 3 years since I wrote the song, and the song's about like, you know, being friends with somebody but actually having a crush on them, you know.
Yeah.
But everybody thought it was about my ex-boyfriend, and I was like, do you guys not know what the word platonic means? Like, him and I are not friends.
Half of them are Googling that right now, so I mean.
Yeah, I had my first ex-boyfriend. I say that like I've dated a lot of people. I've only dated like 2 people. Not even.
It's okay. It's
yeah,
not cracked up. It's
yeah, whatever. But yeah, I think I called him egotistical once at like 15, and he like stared at me and was like, "What does that word mean?" I was like, Man, who am I?
I would have
dating?
just handed him a dictionary and said, "Here."
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I think my best friend at the time, like, had to like tell him. I was like, why are you telling him? Like, Ironically enough, that's kind of what The Architect is about, is that friend, but, you know,
No.
not going to necessarily name drop, I don't think.
No.
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 But yeah, so teenage angst turned to like poetry writing and indie folk. I don't know. Anytime anybody asks me what my genre of music is, I'm kind of like indie, but I feel like everybody says indie nowadays.
Well, I mean, indie really isn't a type of music. Indie just means that you're an independent person.
Yeah.
You don't have a label. You've got nobody to listen, answer to, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like when I see on Spotify, like Spotify has like indie folk playlists. And like Phoebe Bridgers is like indie folk, but she signed with a label. I don't remember what label she signed with, but I know that her and Boy Genius were signed with.
Well, I mean, do you tend to, the songs that you've written so far, are you more on the angst side? Are you over the angst? Are you on into
Oh man.
kind of like a pop type?
See, like the art.
See, there's different things you could go with here.
I think I heard. What is the genre that I heard the other day? I think acid rock is or like dance pop. I don't know. Like there's so many subgenres that
There's acid rock, and then there's acid metal. There's all kinds of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. So you could kind of fit in anywhere.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like I mean, the Architect has the cello on it, so
You
I
know,
feel like that's like folky.
and this is where you're gonna laugh. I love the cello.
Really?
Yes,
I love the cello. Like I don't know how to play it, but the girl came into the session, and she just started like, I don't even know how people do that. Like I don't know. Like I'm not good enough. Like I'm not good enough at guitar to be like to jam with people quite yet. I've been playing for like 2 years, but you know I have enough music theory that I could kind of get a hang of it. But she like came in, I played the song for her like twice through, and she just was like,
just went right for it.
and just, I mean, obviously we had to lay out a couple of notes for her to play, and like I
Right.
could tell people notes, but and like the chords that I play. But the second you put a capo on a fret, I'm like, okay, how many half steps or how many whole steps, and what note does that make the chord?
Don't even ask me because I have no clue.
I have no idea. Like I feel like I'm just like, okay, it's G shape maybe. Because I think I've had a few people ask me, they're like, what chords you playing? I don't have my capo. And I'm like, G, but on the 3rd fret and 4th finger is on this string.
Yeah.
I'm like, I couldn't tell you. I like just tell people, I'm like, I just play by sound. I feel like, you know.
Well, see, one of the speaking of the cello, the one musician, he was with Godsmack, but he did his own solo career, which was Sully Erna. He did his own little album, and he had a cello on it, and he had full instrumentation on a lot of the songs, but there was certain songs that was just the piano, the cello, and him singing. And I was really, really fascinated by that, because it actually, the tone of the cello and with what he was doing actually pulled a different emotion, a different feeling. And I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like The Architect originally was a very like indie pop song. I'll just label it as that. Like I imagined it with like
You could go with the indie folksy.
yeah, like yeah. I mean, and it's turned into like with the cello in the background, it's turned into kind of this like folky influence. And like it almost makes the song kind of eerie. Like I was
Well, it is October.
yeah, which is like so cool. I mean, it's releasing I think November 1st. I just said I think it is.
Yeah, November
releasing,
1st is it.
like the day after Halloween. We contemplated releasing it on Halloween, but I was like, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of more late fall. But the song kind of has this like eerie feeling to it. And I think it's kind of cool because it's like if you imagine yourself in an empty house, you know, like in an unfamiliar place, it's kind of eerie to you at first until you get comfortable with that place, which kind of goes along with the metaphor. But yeah, like the cello, I love the cello. I love it so much. Like it's like I've seen some people try to recreate the authentic sound with like a synth or like a MIDI board, which I don't like it.
It don't get the same feel.
Yeah, it's like the same thing as putting like an automatic drum, like an automatic drum beat from like GarageBand and moving it to Pro Tools or something like that. Instead of having the actual like have somebody like actually play the instrument.
I'd rather just have sound old school recording, analog, reel to reel, ADAT. Give me that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it makes you feel. And everybody talks about how warm the sound was back then.
Yep. My roommate and I talk about that all the time. Like I was like, man, I wish I could recreate that sound. Like I really want to, but I feel like it's so hard because the systems are different now. They take differently, I think. Pro Tools is a beast to mess with. Like I'm new to it.
It's actually a beast that I never will touch.
I don't blame you. Like a lot of people that I've talked to are like, I'm gonna go with Logic. Logic is like a advanced version of GarageBand. It's got like the EQ. It actually has the crossfade, which is like that's like needed for cutting vocals, especially, and just literally anything. But yeah, Pro Tools. It's like my first ever Pro Tools accomplishment. I recorded The Architect in a Pro Tools session after I had like an 8-week class that went over all of the basics, but it was super fast paced, and I had it like twice a week for 50-minute increments, like Monday and Wednesday. So it was not very much content, but like I took that content and a few YouTube videos and like pulled this song in Pro Tools and was like, off we go. I had a girl that actually helped me understand some of like the things that weren't explained, like some of the EQ stuff. Yeah. We could get into a whole conversation about frequencies, but that's like a whole thing. I
think it's funny because I've seen several live sound people, and they're trying to distinguish frequencies and this and that and everything else. And I'm like, okay, see this thing right here? You don't have meters and gadgets on this ear. Move the dials to where it sounds the best.
Yep, absolutely.
Because some of the best music out there created is by artists, and they're using their fingers on instruments or their hands. Quit analyzing the shit out of it.
Yeah, I think that kind of loses the authenticity of a song if you play with it too much. Like we actually, so I had a few previous sessions with The Architect, and like it just wasn't hitting because I think we kept messing with it too much.
Yep.
And then my friend and I, who I wrote the song with, who's also a feature on the song, her and I, like literally, I think 2 nights before we had to drop the pre-save or drop like the release date and get the song uploaded to distribution.
Yeah.
Like had like a 5-hour session where I was like, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to recut some things. I'm going to add like a little bit of EQ, some compression, to get rid of those like high frequencies that like kind of make you go, ugh, other than that, you know what I mean? But literally other than that, the song is just like me messing with levels. Yeah. That's literally it. And my dad listened to it. My family listened to it, and I don't know. It's just
it's like I want to stand behind you while you're doing it and be like, do this over here. Do this over here. Yeah. Okay, right there. And when I got through and told you it was perfect the way it was, you would still be like, I can do this. You tweak too much. People don't understand that. You can tweak too much.
Yeah, and I'm especially bad about that. Yep. I will admit that. I'm a perfectionist. Like I have my own little like just a little rinky-dink like compression mic and a little interface, and I mess with GarageBand, but I think like when I first started recording just like little demos. Yeah. Like I would get to a point like I would be in like in my bedroom actually before I moved to school. I had like this little like it was a closet with sound panels in it. Yeah. We'll just put that. I'm
curious if you've got Pro Tools and all this at your disposal, Why are you still going into GarageBand?
Oh, I was referring to like when I used to do that in my little studio space at home.
Okay.
That was the first thing I messed with. And then before Belmont, I decided to get Pro Tools because it's they label it as the industry standard. And that's
It is, unfortunately, industry
and it's
standard.
the hardest thing on the planet, I feel like. And so, I mean, once you get used to it, it's like, okay, what button do I have to press to get to this thing? But yeah, like it's just easier for me because I have my laptop. And so then that way I can work outside of class instead of trying to get the exercise done in the 50 minutes that I have, because I swear I need like double that time to get it done. Because my professor has like way more experience than I do. I walked in that class with no Pro Tools experience. So, and then I got a song out of it.
Okay, I gotta do this. I just gotta do this. Say you have a song. You want to record that song. Get that song. Get whatever musical instruments you want to accompany that song.
Yeah.
Come up here. Sit right there in that living room. Cut that song on the equipment I have right over there.
Okay.
I'll beat your Pro Tools.
Really? You think so?
There's no software.
Oh, really?
I have no
Okay.
Pro Tools. I don't have any kind of editing software for sound. I just use boards.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like also like just doing that and like a raw take makes it way more authentic. Like I've noticed, like I was telling my dad, I was like, I've noticed that people tend to like the live versions of songs better than the actual cut version. Like an artist that that kind of is like an example of this is like Gracie Abrams. She had a single for her Good Riddance album called I Know It Won't Work.
Yeah.
And then she came out with a live version that I think she did on some talk show. She came out with the live version, and I personally like listening to the live version more.
Yeah.
She did it with her recent single too, called "I Love You, I'm Sorry," and she released the live version that she did with Vevo, however you say that.
Bebo?
Vevo. It's like the YouTube music channel saying.
That's what they call it, I guess.
I don't know why, but
One of the major top-selling albums of all time. Kiss Alive.
yeah, that's a good album. Yeah.
Wasn't no Pro Tools back then. It was all, I think they was using an ADAT tape and boards.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, I've been getting into like Nirvana. Like I grew up with, I kind of grew up with them a little bit. I've been getting into their MTV Unplugged album. I think it was like 90, it was in 94, 93, 94. I've been listening to that album a lot. And I think like, I think it's more authentic when you can hear the crowd and you can hear, you know, how much fun essentially an artist is having. It's, you know, people say all the time you can't recreate a live performance.
Well, it's one thing I noticed too. Some of your bigger selling albums, let's go to the metal genre.
Okay.
Look at Godsmack. 2 guitars, a bass, a drum. That's it. Sully Erna laying the vocals. It's not produced to death.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more raw. That's what I love about that stuff.
I think I love live performances. Like I think hold on. I didn't know if I had to cough. I didn't want to like cough directly into the mic. Like,
Cough, sneeze, whatever.
it doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter on here.
Whatever. Yeah, but like the Architect, like I said, like essentially the song that we're releasing, like literally November 1st was done in a 4-hour session of just like my friend. Most of it was done laughing. I think most of the work took probably an hour and a half of her and I laying down vocals and a couple cool like harmonies that we did in the live take.
Yeah.
Like I told her, I was like, I want to recreate the video that essentially went viral. You know what I mean? I don't want people to listen to the song and they're like, what is this?
You had the cello on it. Did you have guitars too, or?
Oh yeah, it was guitar and then cello and then
that was
vocals. That's literally it.
Wow.
Yeah, and a
See,
lot of
this has sparked my interest already.
Yeah, like the song itself, we're gonna put violin on it. There's a girl that I know at Belmont that's a phenomenal violin player. I reached out to her, but we couldn't make the time work before the deadline to like submit the song. But I also just kept listening to the song, and I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know how badly. Like, I feel like the song is good where it's at. You know what I mean? Like, I was I just need to trust my gut. I feel like on it. And so yeah, the song is really just cello, guitar, and our vocals. And a lot of the song went viral for the fact that our voices like kind of melt together, as my parents would describe it. They're just like your vocals melt together, and so if you add like a few like cool little harmonies here and there, like the song will be full already. So yeah, the Pro Tools session, like, it looks complicated, but it's not. It's like 3 tracks. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, we don't really have stacked harmonies. I think originally we had like a 4 stacked harmony on one of the, like I think like words in the verse, but I just was like, I think literally, like I said, like 2 days or a day, but like the night before we were going to submit it, like I was like, I'm cutting this and we're just going to do the original, like, the original take that we had, because I feel like the harmonies are too much, like, and then if you do too many stacked harmonies, it gets really poppy. Like, it reminds me of like Ariana Grande, like 5-part harmony, which that's out of my ballpark. I think I can maybe do like a 2 or 3, but
see, when I love harmonies.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm an old school harmony guy. I love them all. You know, Oak Ridge Boys, all that. You know, Flat River Band, they do great harmonies. Diamond Dixie, 2 sisters, they harmonize so well together. You know, but I've always been a harmony guy. But I'm like you. If you do too many layers of that harmony, it takes away from it all.
Yeah. I think it sounds like overproduced sometimes, and sometimes if you get like a harmony that's like slightly less, like, doesn't match the tone of the other ones, like, I don't know, like, I'm very particular about like how I lay out my harmonies, if one doesn't like match the tone of another, it throws off the set of the whole song. Yeah. It's also like how there's so many, like, I've like learned so much just doing this song when I was messing with I didn't even mess with the instruments, but when I was messing with the levels of the instruments. Like, we originally had quieted the cello a little bit.
Oh, hell no.
Well, just a little bit, not enough for people to be like, oh, we can't hear it. What is that instrument in the background? You know? But I sent it to my manager, and I was like, what do you think of this? And he's like, the cello is way too quiet. He's like, because that's the instrument that sticks out on the song. There are some cool parts in the song, like in the pre-choruses where the cello takes over the vocal part, and that's like my favorite thing on the planet, when an instrument bleeds into the vocal. Oh yeah. Enough. Like, I just there are some parts in the pre-chorus where like I have kind of a part that it sounds like in headphones. I love listening to music in headphones. Because like you can pan stuff, you know what I mean? And so like it sounds like this vocal is like behind you, but the cello.
I did it one time where it was a bass line in the middle of this glam rock song, but it was a ballad. And what I did on the recording process of it is literally I went from one side of the pan and I followed it all the way around to the other side. Stopped it, put it back in the middle, and then resumed it. And it literally felt like the bass was just going around the room. And it added so much depth to that song.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think panning the vocals was my favorite part of doing that whole thing, because, you know, like
I like mute. Nope, you won't do mute.
Like I said, we didn't do like, you know, a whole lot of like vocal like tricks. I think it was just like, because originally everything was like center, And I was like, man, like this song just sounds like everything's just like there. And like, you know, I started to like question. I was like, I'm kind of bored. Like, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah,
The first
because I
session of the
mean,
song, yeah.
you're doing a song that's architect, and you know somebody else built this house, and you're forced to live in it and all this stuff. It kind of makes you want to use the pan or use some other tricks to where you could like create different angles within the song.
Yep. Yeah, that was kind of exactly the purpose. Is like I was imagining just like a big hallway, like, you know, those really echoey hallways. Obviously, you can't turn the reverb up a lot, 'cause then it just is like this echoey mush. I think like reverb is like.
It all
one of the
depends. I
weirdest
mean, if you do it correctly, you could sound like Prince during Purple Rain. You know, I mean,
yeah.
It all depends on how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, there's like little things in the song that I hope when people listen to it, they appreciate it as much as Cam and I do, because I'm like, okay, I did this purposefully. I hope that you think about it the way that I did.
But when you got through recording it and everything, and then you listened to it, did you get the bumps?
Yes, I like listened to that. Like, what do you mean bumps? Like
The goosebumps.
oh, I thought
Like
you meant
you know, you got done and you listening to it and you're just like, holy shit.
yeah, absolutely. Like that. Like I was just, I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous to submit the mix that we had, originally, because I just felt like the project it was just not done. And you know, you like I said, like what you said, you can go back and tweak things as much as you want, and the song can never be done if you keep doing that. But
Well, you got to remember too, you are your worst critic.
yeah, absolutely. And so I got a few different perspectives from people. Like I got a perspective from my roommate, I got my parents, my sister, like, you know, and I was like, I just need validation that like I need to go back and just
somebody pat me on the back, please.
Exactly. And so, like I said, that's how that 5-hour session was born. Is Cam, I texted Cam and I was like, hey, are you available from like 10 to 1 in the morning? Like, and I had an 8 a.m. the next day. So I was like dedicated. I called my dad up and I was like, I'm doing this and I'll get the song to everybody, like, I promise. And so we sat back, I think it was like 12:30. And we already had the stems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We did the cello, we did the guitar. The guitar was like the first thing that we did. We had cut most of the vocals. And so, yeah, I literally sat down and we sat back about 12:30, 12:45 and just hit play, because I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't mess with this anymore. I was like, and we hit play and her and I were just like, yeah, we're like, this is the version that we want to put out.
Done.
Yes.
Print.
I was so, I'm not gonna lie, I was so relieved when that happened. I was like, man, I've spent so many hours on this song and it's finally done. Like, not in like a I'm sick of it type of way, just like I'm excited for people to hear it.
Yeah.
'Cause I just think it's really cool. And
Well, the thing that I find really, really super fucking cool. Don't look at me like that. I had to say it.
censor it, beep it, beep.
Beep what? No, I don't beep nothing.
I'm just kidding.
If I was to give Julie a beeping thing, she'd be beeping the crap out of it. But anyway, you wouldn't hear nothing else. You just hear beep the whole time.
That'd be so out of context. Yeah.
What I find super cool is just you took it from the start, the idea. You went through the whole writing process with it. Then you started self-producing. And I love that, because you had an idea for what instrument you wanted, how you wanted it to go. And self-producing is hard to do. It really is. Like I said, you are your worst critic. You will freaking finagle the heck out of it all night long.
Yeah.
And then bring it all the way through to y'all both agreed to it. You got the feels for it and everything else, and you're done. And now you're fixing to release it November 1st.
Yep.
That is super cool.
And what I'm really proud of is the fact that the song itself, you know, I think we wrote it at the end of August. I think it was the end of August. So I mean, it's what, 2 months? 2 months.
August.
Wait, right?
The end of August.
Yeah, I think
September,
maybe
October.
the
That's 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months of like, I mean, it took us probably 2 weeks to write it. Maybe like an hour and a half to actually write it if you're talking time,
Yeah.
but like 2 sessions because her and I school.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, what if we, like, I had posted that video, and like I said, like that blew up, and then I was like, okay, people really like the song, and so I went to her because Cam has never released a song before, and so I was introducing her to like this whole new thing almost. And
was it her first writing round too?
no, she writes music, but she's an elementary education major.
Okay.
Which I think is so cool that she's not necessarily like a music major, but I met her through my Belmont Welcome Week group.
Okay.
And so that's how her and I met. And so then we I don't even know how we got into writing. I think I just showed up with my guitar in one of the gazebos, and I was just playing along with like my own stuff. Like I wasn't writing with anybody. We were just playing covers. And she whips out her guitar. She shows up, and I was like, "You sing?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's got this like very Billie Eilish. Like I don't know. Like it's very like subtly Billie Eilish, but also kind of has like that folky sound to it, like her voice does. And I've been told a lot that I have like kind of a folky sound to my voice, but people can never really pinpoint who I sound like. And so we got together, and I think our first cover that we sang was I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even think. But we posted a cover video, and then
I don't know.
I don't.
I have no clue.
I have no idea. But I think we posted a cover video and posted that video. So.
I can tell you exactly who I think you sound like.
Who?
Yourself.
Okay, I love that.
Quit trying to sound like everybody else. Be you.
Absolutely. And that's why I also like love self-producing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like getting into that, because now I can create my own sound without having to market another producer. I think that's something that's really cool that you can hear. That's why people seek out certain producers.
Right.
Because they're like, I want that producer sound, but then you end up sounding like kind of everybody else that that producer has done. I mean, it depends on the producer. People are versatile. But like
I like producers that they take an interest in that individual artist and compliment that individual artist. I don't like the cookie cutter, okay, everybody's got to sound like Taylor, or they got to sound like this, or they got to sound like that. Yeah. It's the same way with, some stylist out there. Not everybody needs to look like Kristine Aguilera when they go on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And maybe it's because I haven't had I've had my fair share of, working with other people, which is phenomenal. I love that. But I've just found that like I kind of achieve what I want in my own space.
Yeah.
Almost just being like, okay, I want to add this and I want to add this. And like I said, there are some people that I've worked with that are insanely talented. But I just, I feel like I haven't achieved my sound yet, and I feel like I am. I'm starting to do that, self-producing.
Yeah.
And eventually, I'll come across somebody that there will be a producer that knows how to work Pro Tools way better than I do, that will complement and understand what I want.
But do you really get your sound?
Yeah.
See?
And then it's, like I said, it raises that question again.
There's people taking pictures of us. Did you see that?
Yeah, hopefully I don't look like...
I thought it was funny.
Hopefully I don't look like, Don't do it. But, yeah, so... I think the architect kind of marks that, finding my own sound for me, especially moving away from home. I'm like 8 hours from home right now, and
Wow.
I'm losing my mind. Yeah, I'm from, I don't know if you've heard of a little town called Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Yeah, bluegrass, rockabilly music. I love it there. I've met some really, really cool guys that play mandolin and just can shred on the mandolin. I've never thought.
Oh, yeah. It's it's crazy. And, this is what I was saying. When I did CMA Fest, some of the interviews that I was doing there, there was different people down there talking about how they were putting old school instruments back into their music, which I find really, really cool.
Yeah, there's a song that I cut that is about my grandpa. My grandpa's a mandolin player. Like he passed away like I think it'll be 2 or 3 years in May.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so I wrote a song called Fishing Line about him, and we got a guy in Eureka to do mandolin on it.
Yeah.
And he just we didn't even play the song for him first. Like we just pressed play and, you know, had a track going on his, and he just
Added in.
He just did it, and I was like, I thought this was going to be way longer. It took him, I think, like 10 or 15 minutes to get to get like a whole mandolin track that was ready to go and done on this song. And I told my dad, it's so interesting because I grew up with so many different genres of music, from like Johnny Cash. I told you that earlier. I'm wearing a Johnny Cash shirt. Man, I can't even think, like some bluegrass artists, and then like my dad listened to 311.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love 311.
Well, see, a lot of my upbringing was country music through my mama and all that. But my mom was like the 40s and 50s rock back then. And then me, I was 77 and above, you know, I was listening to all kinds of different things, you know, Toys in the Attic, you know, I was listening to all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was great stuff. I loved it, you know, but that's what shaped me and more into going into the heavy metal, because you can trace heavy metal back to classically trained musicians.
Yeah, which I think is insane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy as all get out. But then you look at the Appalachian and the players that are over in Appalachian Mountains and everything. That's all they had to frickin' do.
Yeah.
There was no internet. There was none of all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was go work on the farm, fish, hunt, bring your ass home on the front porch and grab something that's laying there and play it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We should invent a video game that's all you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fish, hunt, play.
I feel like I'd play that. Okay, that was kind of my grandpa. Not a big hunter, but fished.
Yeah.
Big fisher, hence why that song is called Fishing Line. Yeah, big fisher, and then it was like him and his mandolin in the living room on the couch and a cigar, and just that's the end of it. Like,
yeah,
that's where I got my music influence. Yeah,
that was one of my biggest things that I loved the most was the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah, yep.
Because they had the Darlings that had the old man and a bunch of young boys, and the young girl, the sister, all of them sang, and they jammed out on old school Appalachian music, and it was good stuff. I love that shit.
Yeah, man, I kind of miss that authenticity, like we were talking about earlier. I watched a documentary about Electric Lady Studios.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix's studio. And just like the process of like watching him create music.
Yeah.
And doing it with the analog and doing it in one take, and maybe not one take, but like the fact that like the producers were talking about, they'd have 1 million tapes, and they would just press play, and he would go on his guitar and just play for hours and hours on end in this studio space, and now that studio space is, I think it's really hard to get into that studio space and be able to like and play it all. And I was talking to my roommate. Yeah.
You look at Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, another phenomenal player. But you also go full circle back around to Eddie Van Halen with 5150. That was his personal studio.
Yeah.
And that's all he did was play. There's no telling how much music is actually in 5150.
Yeah. Yep.
It would probably take you 2 years just to go in there and listen to everything.
Yeah. Man, if I could get my, not hands-on, but I just want to go into Electric Lady Studios, you know, I just want to experience, like, I just want to experience it. But even like, I was talking to my roommate, I was looking it up the other day, you can't even like tour it. Like, you have to have connections to be able to even record. I think like, I mean, the biggest name in the industry you hear all over is Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with her music, you know, I mean, everybody kind of did, and now she's blossomed into this thing. Like I think like half of her albums are recorded Electric Lady. Like
I don't know. I actually don't.
She released I think it was 1989 Taylor's version, and her producer Jack Antonoff, they like know the owner, I think, or somebody who owns it, and so they record a lot there. There are a lot of like pop artists that I've noticed that have recorded Electric Lady.
See, I was never a fan of her style of music.
Okay. Yeah.
I just never was a fan. And I applaud her for what she's done. She has started and worked her way up and done everything. And now anybody can go get a Taylor Swift ticket for $10,000 a seat.
Yeah. Dynamic pricing is insane.
Yeah,
like,
I don't go for it. Last concert I went to cost me $32.50.
Really? The last concert I went to, believe it or not, was Mason Ramsey. I don't know if you know who that is. Do you know who that is? The yodeling kid? Yeah, I went to his concert at the Basement East. My friends and I found that he was going on tour. I think that ticket was like $25.
Yeah.
And I was second row. Like I have video, like second row at a Mason Ramsey concert. And he's phenomenal, by the way. Like just, he's an insane musician, and it's kind of crazy to think he went from like this yodeling kid in a Walmart to like this insanely, like he kind of reminds me of Elvis. His dress, but also like just his mannerisms, I guess.
You know,
on
and
stage.
Well, I mean, you got to give him props, but it's like I tell everybody, anybody can yodel.
Yeah, yeah.
Just learn it. Practice it. What's that old saying that our grandparents used to tell us? Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, I've heard that one a lot.
That's why half the guitar players, you don't ever see them outside. They're inside sitting playing with their guitar. They're just having all kinds of fun. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
But I think my T-shirt at that concert was more than the concert ticket.
Probably.
It was, the T-shirt was like $35, and I was like, what? I'm paying more for a T-shirt. But yeah.
Well, the first concert I went to was a Kiss concert, and I won the tickets over the radio with a dial phone.
I don't even think you can do that nowadays. I don't even think you can.
I don't think you can. I don't see that many free tickets out there.
No, I don't think labels give out free tickets anymore. You know, it makes them more money.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean,
like-
you know, I think it's gotten too money grubby.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking to go see Gracie at the Ryman, Gracie Abrams at the Ryman. Love her. Been following her for a long time. Never got to see her because tickets are always expensive, especially in downtown Nashville, especially at the Ryman. And I don't think the tickets fell below $400.
No.
And I was like, $400 for the balcony at the Ryman. I think I'm going to see Claro at the first week in November. And I think I paid less than $100 for like the bottom middle section, maybe like the front section.
Well, say,
You know?
I love concerts.
Yeah.
I like going to the concerts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's my thing. I'm older now. I can go buy a steak, put it on the grill, have the potatoes in the oven, and I can set my little ass on that couch over there and YouTube the heck out of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I bought tickets to Sixpence, for Sunday, and now I can't go.
Yeah.
And I mean, the tickets, I told my dad I wasn't too troubled over it because the tickets were, I think, like $30 each.
Yeah.
So I'm not like out a ton of money. Now, if it was like Taylor Swift and I spent like $1,000 on that ticket, not that I would do that. I think I went to see Taylor last summer, and my ticket, man, I'm like totally don't want to say what it was. It was like
It's okay.
It was like $200.
I think they have a therapy group for this.
Literally, like the Great War trying to get tickets. I remember I was in the airport on my way to Florida, or on my way back from Florida.
Yeah.
And it was pre-sale day. And I was telling my dad, I was like, no, I need to get a ticket. Like, I haven't been in so long, you know. Looking back on it now, I didn't really need the ticket. But my friend's sister,
You wanted it.
Yeah, I wanted it so bad because I just wanted to go like everybody else, you know. And my friend's sister snagged like 6 tickets, and I bought one from her for like the lower bowl, middle section. I was like, man,
You should have stuck your bottom lip out or something and been like, please.
yeah, Well, it's like you were running on like airport internet, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like in the queue, and then it kicked me out of the queue. Even though there were like 10,000 people in front of me, it kicked me out of the queue, and then it wouldn't let me back in. And so I'm like distraught, like I'm not going to get a Taylor Swift ticket. No. But I ended up going. It was super fun, I think. But I think.
See, the way you felt about getting that was how I felt about getting that Led Zeppelin ticket. That was
crazy.
$13.50. I seen Alice Cooper for $15. So
What? That's insane.
well, that was back when he actually was touring and had the snake and the bigger setup and everything else.
Yeah.
I've seen him twice.
I saw who did I see? I grew up in FFA, so I did like concert ushering.
Mm-hmm.
Best thing ever. Is free. I got to see.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I got to see Keith Urban like on the floor. Like I was on the floor by the pit. I got to see Keith Urban. You had to, turn around and face the audience, but I looked back every so often.
Yeah.
Keith Urban and I think ZZ Top played.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best shows there.
I'm gonna tell you now. Some people will shoot me for telling you this, but I'm okay with it. I don't care. You like guitarists?
Yeah.
Hendrix, all of them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a guitarist to look up,
Okay.
but I want you to promise that you're actually going to listen to his technique, how he plays,
Okay. Yeah.
and then recognize what he's playing and how he's doing it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because back then it was about the player and the guitar and what he could make it do.
Yeah. I wish I had some technique that those guitar players had.
Okay, and this is where I
Who
get
is it?
shot. Ted Nugent.
I feel like I've heard that name.
Ted Nugent, pound for pound, to me, should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Okay. I'll determine.
Because he created so many iconic riffs using a Birdland. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
You got to look at it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But really pay attention to his technique and how he does it and everything else, because he's just, to me, he's one of those badassery guys. I mean, he was a guitar hero. And he still is. He's still alive. He still plays.
Yeah. That's cool. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'll absolutely look
Yeah,
him up.
it's crazy.
Yeah. I wish I had the technique. There are some people that I've met at Belmont that can have been playing guitar since they were like 6.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy. I've been playing guitar. I started playing guitar when I think my grandpa passed away. Like he had like a whole collection in his basement that I had no idea about. Like I was like the musician of the family, but I had no idea that he had this collection. Like not even I don't even think my grandma had seen the collection.
Makes you wonder how he played.
Yeah. And
Any home movies or anything? I mean,
I think so. There's videos of him, playing the mandolin a lot and playing. He had like a Gibson. I actually have it. It's like a Gibson. I think it's a 73 J45.
ooh,
Yeah,
sweet.
like beautiful, like golden body. Like I just was nerding out when I saw that guitar. And
That needs to be a case on the wall.
yeah, absolutely. And so I you turn the corner and there's like 15 guitars that are like handmade and just like why didn't I know about this? Like I could have been playing these instruments sooner.
Yeah. Now you've got at least 15 of my listeners drooling. Okay.
I inherited a few. And so I chose one that I play consistently, but I've been playing for about maybe 2 years.
Okay.
But I've learned enough to write music with, and obviously I produced a song with guitar in it that I wrote. So.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear it. So
Yeah.
do me a favor. We're going to get off here, but please tell everybody where they can find you.
Okay.
Not at Belmont, somewhere else.
Yeah, you can find me at Kristine _ because somebody else has my name apparently. Kristine _ on TikTok, Instagram. Kristine on Facebook. I don't really do my Facebook. My mom does my Facebook because she knows how to use it.
Okay.
No, and you can find me at Kristine on all music platforms and on YouTube.
Good deal.
Yeah, so.
This has been a hoot talking to
Yeah,
you. We're going to have to
yeah.
get you back on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be back on.
I might have to get a cohort of yours and you both at the same time. That would be fun as all get.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you being on. And everybody check out The Architect. November 1st
Yeah.
is the big
soon.
release day.
Yeah.
I'm going to be waiting on it. I want to hear this.
Yeah, we're gonna have
I am totally intrigued with the
Yeah.
cello and everything else and how you've done this. I mean, it's like, I almost want to hear it now.
I don't know if I can show you right now.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. All right, everybody, please remember, like, share, follow, subscribe. Please subscribe and follow because it helps all these artists. It helps this old fart right here. And yeah, the more numbers, the more places we can go and play, and the more places that will send their artists to me, and we can sit and talk to them and have a decent time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll see y'all later. Love you. Mean it. Toodles.